Rates need to keep rising. That was the message from RBA boss Philip Lowe today. As to how high they'll go, he doesn't know. It's cold comfort to families like the mortgage-stressed Farragers you're about to meet. But first, Lowe's awkward appearance before a Senate committee.
Can you explain to the renters and mortgage holders of Australia why you still deserve to hold your job?
Boom. A shot between the eyes for our interest rates chuckling pantomime villain, Reserve Bank boss Philip Lowe.
It's not just me. I find sometimes the fact that it's all sheeted down to me is a bit unfair, but because it's the board. It's not just me making these decisions. There are 9 people based on the advice of a large staff.
1,380 well-paid Reserve Bank employees are behind the decision to increase your interest rates. But Google Lowe's name and you'll get over 13 million hits in less than a second.
I get a lot of people writing to me at the moment, telling me about their personal circumstances, and it's really, really tough, and we understand that. And, you know, I read those letters and hear those stories with a very heavy heart.
The under-fire head honcho pockets over $1 million a year in salary. That's around double the amount the average Aussie currently owes the bank for their home. Banks like the Commonwealth Bank, which posted a whopping $5.15 billion cash profit today, up from $4.75 billion a year ago.
The country is better off from having strong, resilient, effective banks who can provide the financial services that we need.
All right,
and it's
thank
tough,
you.
I know.
Lowe's previously apologised for ratcheting up rates, which flew in the face of his own public prediction. Yet after 9 consecutive rate rises, Phil insists he's no inflation fall guy.
No, of course not. I mean, it's accountable. I'm accountable through this process. I'm accountable through the media commentary, which you might have observed is non-stop and around the clock. So,
Today he looked like a deer in the headlights, fending off a hunting pack led by Green Senator Nick McKim.
You seem prepared to smash Australia into a recession.
Can I assure you that's not our intention?
Phil says he's giving everyone a fair go.
We want to get inflation down because it's dangerous. It's corrosive, it hurts people, it damages income inequality, and if it stays high, it leads to higher interest rates and more unemployment.
So, what will it take for inflation to start to subside? And more importantly, when?
Our central forecasts have the unemployment rate getting to 4.5% next year, and that being enough broadly to get the inflation rate down to 3% over the next couple of years. If we can do that, that central forecast comes to fruition, it'll be a good outcome for the country, won't it?
But for the remainder of this year, brace yourself for some more low blows.
I don't think we're at the peak yet, but how far we have to go up, I don't know.
I'm joined by Emily and Josh Farrager from their Frankston home outside Melbourne. Emily and Josh, nice to talk to you both. We heard today that rates need to keep rising. How much of a kick in the guts is that?
It really sucks.
A really big one. It's really tough. I'm getting a bit emotional thinking about it, actually, because month after month you just get a letter from the bank, and I've got unopened letters on my desk, and I don't want to open them because I don't know what our next repayment's going to be. Actually, yeah, it's pretty tough.
You
really
okay,
tough.
Emily?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. You moved into your home in early 2021. How much extra money are you having to find each month?
So we worked out that our mortgage has gone up by about $1,000 a month. We were paying roughly $1,800 a month previously before all these interest rate hikes, and then it's gone up to about $2,800. And very luckily, we've just refinanced to drop about 1% off that, which has dropped about $250 a month, but it's still a lot more than we were paying before.
You talk about not wanting to open bills because you don't know what's inside. It's not just the mortgage that's going up, is it?
No. Who knew food was a luxury item? You go to the supermarket and you you know, you spend $200 or $300 because we've got a family to feed, and there's less and less in the trolley each week. Less and less. You know, we're not buying big luxury items. We're not buying big chunks of meat that costs a lot of money. We're just trying to feed our family, and each week there's less and less in the trolley, and it's costing more and more.
Emily, how tight do you run things at home?
We run till there's nothing in the cupboard, basically.
Especially at the moment, it's just getting harder and harder to justify going to the shops and spending that $300, $400 if we have to, because it's so much money every time.
Yeah. So we don't have animals. We don't have animals on purpose because we couldn't afford them. We don't have cats and dogs. We'd love to raise our kids with animals, but we just can't justify the extra expense.
You both work, you've got good jobs, you work as a nurse, an electrician. I know you haven't had a holiday in a really long time. If you have to cut back even further, what goes?
The kids' swimming lessons are probably going to be next. We want to, you know, they don't do dance, they don't karate, they don't do footy kick. We chose swimming to future-proof them, but that's getting unrealistic now. That's going to be the next thing that goes, unfortunately.
We already don't do much with them on the weekends. We don't take them out to the zoo or, you know,
we just can't justify
all those sorts of things, because we're either having to pick up extra shifts at work just to cover everything, or we can't afford to do stuff with them anyway, so it's really tough.
Emily, the stress of this has you in tears, and we hear the RBA governor and others say, we understand people are hurting, but do you think they really get it?
No, not even a little bit. Let's call them Marie Antoinette, shall we? Let them eat cake. It's completely... they sat there in their ivory towers. You know, they have no idea what's going on with the people on the streets. You know, I talk to my friends about this, and it's the same sentiment everywhere. How are we going to survive? How much longer are we going to go until people start losing their houses, their cars are getting repossessed, etc., etc.? What's it going to take for these guys to sit up and realise that what they're doing is very harmful? It's very harmful for the everyday Australian.
So if you had Philip Lowe's ear right now, the RBA governor, what would you say?
If Philip Lowe was here right now, I'd say, come and have a cup of tea with me. Let's sit down and talk about it. Come and see how we do things down here.
Look,
the thing is, our mortgage isn't even that expensive compared to a lot of other people. We bought basically, you know, the only thing we could afford at the time. I was an apprentice at the time when we bought our house, and so our borrowing capacity was quite low. But even with that, me being a fully qualified electrician now hasn't even helped to fix that problem of the wage increase hasn't caught up with everything that's gone on with.
There really hasn't been a wage increase at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially working in healthcare, we've been on the front line in this pandemic, and we've got nothing to show for it. We've got nothing to show for it.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, though, you've got Lucy and Jack there, the best behaved kids I've ever seen. My kids are the same age. There's no way they'd sit still that long. You look after yourselves. Thanks, guys.
This is a rare treat.
Thank you.
What a lovely family.